Hey guys, how you doing? So, as many of you know, there's a new Superman film set to come out later this year, and I'm extremely excited for it. It's safe to say it's definitely my most anticipated movie of the year, and honestly, the most excited I've been for a comic book film since probably Endgame. With that being said, I wanted to break down what I believe the story of this film will be. I have not yet seen the film, and this video is currently being written February 2025. So all the information that I'm basing this off of is from scenes of the trailer, behind the set photos, and then public information that you can find on IMDb. I have not read any leaks that would support the plot for what I'm about to pitch. This will be a combination of my predictions and what I would like to see for the film given all the information we have. I'm hoping to do a series of these for each of the major DCU projects that are set to release in the upcoming lineup. So if you want to see more of these videos, please hit that like and subscribe button and check out our channel. Also, consider dropping a comment. We pride ourselves on responding to every comment. Let us know your thoughts on this prediction as well as future projects for the DCU or just anything you'd like to see from us in general. As always, we appreciate the support. Let's get into it. Act 1 opens with Superman beaten down, bloody in the snow. As the film starts immediately in the action, he's wheezing and bloody, but we'll return to this at the halfway point of the film. We get a montage of the past year of Clark being Superman. This is not an origin story. Think year 2, like Matt Reeves' The Batman, setting the tone for the DCU. We start the film with Superman saving people, struggling to hide his identity, work at the Daily Planet, and assist Lois Lane deal with the everyday struggles. This is where we'll meet the supporting characters like Perry White and Jimmy Olsen. During this opening montage, we get a real sense of Clark, the life he leads, and the values he has. It's established in this universe that metahumans and superheroes work as contractors for corporations and billionaires, basically heroes for the highest bidder, but not Superman. He fights for the little guy, and he upholds the old-fashioned kindness and values that the Kents taught him. This disconnect between him and his fellow heroes make him stand out and make most people look up to him as a hero. But because of this disconnect with other heroes, Clark doesn't really feel that connected to any other heroes and spends any of his free time in the Fortress of Solitude, where he can connect with his Kryptonian heritage. At the end of this montage, Lex Luthor recruits the Engineer, a superhuman cyborg woman with the ability of technopathy, nanite control, and hack advanced alien technology. I got that from Wikipedia. The Engineer claims that she has information about tracking Superman via satellites and knows where he hangs his cape. Lex and the Engineer plot a distraction to keep Superman busy so that they can raid his Fortress of Solitude. They unleash a kaiju monster onto Metropolis as they fly the Fortress of Solitude to steal its Kryptonian technology. Superman in Metropolis protects civilians from the kaiju and tries to stop it, but refuses to kill the monster as he sees it as a scared alien. Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific all intervene, attacking the monster, trying to kill it, but Superman gets in their way to their frustration. This confusion causes unnecessary destruction as Superman again sees that the monster is just a scared animal. Green Lantern finally kills the beast as Superman is upset at the needless destruction and violence. The public is outraged by Superman's unwillingness to kill the kaiju, as he's seen as a polarizing figure. We can see in this photo here that his suit is badly singed and burned from the previous kaiju battle, insinuating it happened right after. The future Justice League members confront Superman and tell him to get on board or get out of the way, as his type of being a hero is old-fashioned and not necessary in this new world. Superman flies back to the Fortress of Solitude, horrified to learn that someone has destroyed it and stolen his Kryptonian artifacts, destroying all his robotic super helpers. We can see here in this photo that, again, his suit is still burned, insinuating that all these events have happened back to back. Lex and the Engineer identify a mysterious Kryptonian artificial intelligence that helps them use Kryptonian DNA they found in the Fortress to create a clone of Superman, one they can control. I believe that the masked man in this movie is probably a clone of Superman of some kind, as we see later he has superhuman strength and can fly. And obviously his identity isn't revealed yet, but we'll get to that later. Clark returns to Metropolis and is frustrated by the disaster of the previous days. We get scenes of him and Lois at work at the Daily Planet. Lois is clearly smart enough to suspect something, but has never seen Superman up close, so she doesn't exactly know what's going on. During these scenes, we learn Clark hasn't been home to Smallville to visit his family in a long time. It's not revealed why, and we'll get to that later on in the story as well. Lex then uses the Kryptonian technology to frame Superman for incidents and uses disinformation to convince the public he's a foreign invader who wants to conquer Earth, similar to Omni-Man for those who have seen Invincible. He uses rebellions around the globe to convince the government that Superman is a threat and should be treated like one. Clark, wanting to cooperate, surrenders to the U.S. government. This is where we see Rick Flag Sr. and the Engineer in this masked clone. While this is going on, Lois and Jimmy investigate these events that Lex has orchestrated as they're determined to clear Superman's name. As Lois does her journalistic side plot, Lex holds Superman at a government facility where he made a deal to use stolen Kryptonian technology to find out Superman's weaknesses. This would be the first time Lex and Superman are face-to-face in the DCU, and I'm expecting some great dialogue between the two. As Superman is being tested upon, he escapes and is being chased after by the mysterious clone and engineer. They battle, and Superman is barely able to get away as he falls from Earth beaten and bloody. During the battle, the masses of clones ripped off, revealing to be Bizarro, a clone of Superman with all the powers of him but in reverse. For example, instead of heat vision, it's ice vision. The result of this battle has led us back to the opening scene, where we are in present day. Superman calls for Krypton. He asks him to take him home, except he doesn't mean the Fortress of Solitude. He means Kansas. Clark returns home, bloody and broken, to his parents, who nurse him back to full health. We finally meet John and Martha Kent. We get a series of flashbacks of Clark's early childhood and him finding his powers and saving people in Smallville. I wanted to save this for the second half of the film to let us really establish Clark and his values, and then we see where he got them from. Instead of Man of Steel, where we saw the flashbacks at the beginning, I'm going to save these for almost the third act. We learn that Jonathan Kent has terminal cancer, and that's why Superman hasn't gone home in the past year. Clark's upset. He can't save his father from cancer. It's the one villain he can't defeat. And he's been desperately trying to save everyone else to compensate. There's an emotional scene with Jonathan Kent telling Clark how proud he is of his son and encourages him to do the right thing and help anyone any chance he gets, no matter the public opinion or the perception of others. The message for this film is that doing the right thing doesn't always need to be reward or satisfaction, or acknowledgement from social media or the press. Old-fashioned kindness is what is instilled in Superman and what America needs right now. This old-fashioned kindness that was instilled in Superman is juxtaposed to the life of Bizarro, who was born in a lab and his growth accelerated due to the powers of the engineer. Lex Luthor has been instilling hateful rhetoric in his ear every day. In a strange way, Bizarro is envious of Superman and wants to be just like him. He even creates a similar suit. Going against Lex's wishes, Bizarro escapes the lab. He's held in Luthor Corp in an attempt to save the city. I like the idea of Lex's own creation going against him, kind of like Frankenstein's monster, Lex's own hubris being his downfall. Lois and Jimmy, through their investigative journalism, reveal that Lex has been behind all the actions framing Superman as they go to the press to clear Superman's name. Clark, back in Smallville, sees this on the TV as he says an emotional goodbye to his parents, specifically his father, Jonathan Kent. This would be different from the comics where Jonathan Kent dies suddenly of a heart attack, and in this story, he has terminal cancer and is dying slowly. This is tragic, and I just think it would be way more impactful for Clark as a character to have to watch his father go slowly and unable to save him, regardless of all the strength he has in the universe, and it would just really resonate with the idea that his obligation is to help as many people as he can. And Jonathan instills this in him and is proud of his son. Clark flies back to Metropolis, reveals his identity to Lois as the two kiss. Right as Clark is on top of the world, his relationship with Lois finally going somewhere, he sees Bizarro on a rampage in the city. Superman has a duty to uphold and flies off, saying goodbye to Lois. The final battle would be Superman confronting Bizarro as he's going berserk, trying to destroy Luthor Corp. I think this would be really satisfying to see Luthor Man save Lex, even if Lex is reluctant to be saved by him to begin with. The other heroes like Green Lantern, Hawkgirl want to intervene, but the corporations sponsoring them tell them that they are to sit this one out. Superman gives them a speech, the same speech that Jonathan Kent gave him earlier, convinces the heroes to forget their corporate sponsors and help prevent further collateral damage, saving people while he goes to fight Bizarro. The movie ends with Superman saving Metropolis and being seen as a hero, inspiring the other heroes like Green Lantern and Hawkgirl to lose their sponsorships and go freelance, ditching the ugly leather jackets in hopes of a better, more comic book accurate costumes for future films. Superman is seen as a hero, which makes Lex Luthor livid. The engineer leaves him, as is just Lex at his lowest. The final scene of the film is Lex sitting in his office when all of a sudden he hears that Kryptonian artificial intelligence that helped him create Bizarro at the beginning of the film. It's revealed in a dramatic way that this is Brainiac, setting up a future Justice League film. I think Brainiac would be a fantastic antagonist for Phase 1 or Gods and Monsters of this DCU multiverse, if you will, or cinematic universe. Again, I just think Brainiac would be a great stepping stone, just to get all the heroes together while opening a lot of avenues for Green Lanterns or Martian Manhunter, just things of that nature. So yeah, that's the video. That's the pitch. Thank you so much if you've gotten this far and listened. We really appreciate any feedback you have. If you liked the video, if you didn't, and please keep an eye out for more DCU project pre-writes or predictions. I really enjoy doing these. They're just for fun, so we appreciate it, and thank you so much. Have a good one.